Three Silly Fillies. Written by
Zenticles.
One sunny summer day, three silly fillies went out to play. To run through the fields and dance in the sun, this day was sure to be quite fun. So as the three fillies prepared to go out amongst the butterflies and birds, their sisters delayed them to impart some important words. The earth pony's big sister was as strong as she was kind, with an honest heart and a wise and sound mind. She told her little sister to stay away from the forest today. The places with which she was familiar were the best for her to play. For there were dangerous things in those woods that were very bad, and if she were harmed, it would make her elder sister oh so very sad. And even though there was curiosity in the little filly's eye, she promised to stay away, as not to make her sister cry. With what her big sister held her in a loving embrace, and then the earth pony filly took to the road at a swift pace. The unicorn's elder sister was both beautiful and vain. She spent all her time brushing her coat and grooming her mane. Though when the unicorn filly would try to leave their home, it was here that her sister's worry and concern did shown. For the elder unicorn sister loved her sibling very much, which is why she always lectured her such.
"Be safe, little sister,"
she would often remark, and
"please return home before it gets dark."
For there are dangerous things out in the cold night, and if she did not return home, it would give her such a fright. The unicorn filly said she would not lie. She will be home before the stars had shone in the sky. So the big sisters saw the little filly off at the door and wished her farewell as she returned to her store. The Pegasus Big Sis was as brash as she was brave. In the past, many a day had she saved. But she made her little sister promise whenever she left to have fun.
"Do not be brave amongst danger. For your safety, just run."
For though her big sister was fast and strong, she couldn't be everywhere when something had gone wrong. So her little sister was to run from danger as soon as it would start, because the loss of her was too much for her big sister's heart. The Pegasus filly promised that she would obey. No matter what the odds, she would always run away. Now, assured her sister was safe from the dangers that lurk, the eldest Pegasus flew off to do some much-needed work. So it was, the three silly fillies began their summer morning, each of their sisters having given them a grave warning. Stay out of the forest and be home before night. Run away from all the dangers with sharp teeth that bite. Come home so you may sleep soundly with your sisters in bed, lest you end up sleeping in a grave with the dead. They stayed to the playground, the warm fields and the wet creek, but shortly thereafter their curiosity was piqued. For the three silly fillies craved something new, having exhausted all things that there was to do. They could invent new songs or try a new game, but no matter what, it felt all the same. Even though she had promised her sister she would be good, it was the earth pony filly that suggested the forbidden woods. The three silly fillies approached the forbidden wood's edge, and the little unicorn filly soon found herself breaking her pledge. For the sun was quickly dropping, and it was already dusk, but the forest beckoned with its low sounds and heavy musk. The three girls wanted to embark on a mysterious quest, so all three decided to put their courage to the test. The fillies explored far into the wood, and they traveled deep, until it was so quiet there wasn't a chirp or a peep. It wasn't long before the sun had completely set, and now the three silly fillies began to fret.
get back home. Which way did we come from?
Oh, how could this have happened when this adventure was supposed to be fun? The longer time passed, the more the Phillies began to fear. Why hadn't they listened to their sisters so dear? It became apparent to the Phillies that they were now lost, for having disobeyed their siblings. They would soon pay the cost. The sound of a twig snapping, a shadow that moved in a flash. It was all it took for the Phillies to act rash. Now they were trapped in the grip of their fears. Their hearts began to pound, and their eyes filled with tears. The three silly Phillies ran for their very lives, for there was danger in the woods soon to arrive. Though they all raced hard, the earth pony did trip, as her legs were caught in a thorny vine's grip. The awful vines gripped and tugged at her hooves, but most frightening of all was that the vines began to move, pulling her deeper into the dark and water-filled pit. It was some carnivorous plant, dragging her as she thrashed in a fit. Her struggles grew weaker, and soon her struggles came to a stop, making it easy for the vines to pull her into the waters with a sickening plop. Now 2 Phillies were left, and they ran in a hurry, but the unicorn Philly had begun to question and worry. Where were they running, and were they going the right way? Out of pure terror from the path, the unicorn Philly did stray into the thorny bushes, and crashing through leaves and branches, she ran hard into the dark despite her cuts and scratches. When her legs began to tire, she slowed down to catch her breath, and in the moonlight saw a face that nearly scared her to death. It had the head of a chicken and a body of a snake. She should have run then, but that would be her final mistake. Her legs started to stiffen as her skin turned to stone. Now and forever, this unicorn filly would stay in the woods, scared and alone. Only one Pegasus filly left, running through the trees. She soon saw a sight that made her feel more at ease. The edge of the forest shined before her in the pale moonlight. A few more quick strides, and she would escape from this plight. Though as her hooves hit the ground, a thought delayed her chance to be free. There should not be one filly running away. There were supposed to be 3. She knew running straight forward would lead to safety, and the nightmare would end. But she wanted to be brave like her big sister. She wouldn't abandon a friend. Summoning up all her courage and all of her might, the Pegasus filly turned around, back to the woods, and prepared for a fight. Though filled with noble conviction, her bravery came to a sharp pause, for just behind her was a large timber wolf with large, hungry jaws. Its wooden teeth tore into her as she lost her chance to run. She cried out for help, but only more wolves were to come. They chewed her up quickly and enjoyed their filly feast. Unable to follow her sister's words, she now belonged to the beasts. On the next morning, one bleak summer day, 3 heartbroken ponies gathered to pray. Their beloved sisters had been taken, never to be seen again. Now the mares had only 3 little graves in their terrible pain. Why didn't those fillies listen? The sisters had given such good advice. Now for their foolish actions, the 3 silly fillies had paid the ultimate price. Never again would those silly fillies laugh, sing, or play. Instead, there was just sadness on their sisters' hearts to weigh. So for all those silly fillies who would think to misbehave, learn from this lesson, lest you find yourselves in the grave.